Beautiful people, this is Coracha Gomez's channel, bringing you the Atemoya versus Cherimoya challenge to determine which one tastes better. In April 2022, I tried to germinate a few Atemoya seeds by putting them in a damp paper towel inside a Ziploc, and in about 10 days they germinated, and then I planted them in small pots. Here's what a seed looks like after about 2 weeks in soil. And after another 2 weeks, it has grown quite a bit. And then I transferred them to 1-gallon pots, and after a month in a 1-gallon pot, here's what it looks like. Then I transferred it in a 5-gallon pot, and after 2 months, it looks like this. It's been over a year since we germinated the Atemoya seeds and planted them in 5-gallon pots. It's now July 2023, and it has grown quite a bit. And if you look closely, you will see that this 1-year-old plant already has its first flowers. This is really amazing. We are here looking at our Atemoya tree. And for the first time this season, we have a pair of male and female flowers. The one on the left, that's still slightly closed, only partially open, is female, and the one on the right is completely open, as you can see, is male. The male will have the pollen, and what we're going to do is we're going to collect the pollen from the male and then just introduce it to the female. And you will use a brush to do this. Go ahead. So just using a brush with fine tip, just twirl, just dislodge the pollen into a container. That should be good. And then just collect some into the pollen. Collect some of the pollen into the brush, and then just introduce it into the female. Just twirl it around. That should be done. And then it might be a good idea to cut off part of the petal. As you can see here, he's stand up right there, just to mark that this has been hand pollinated. I forgot to say that the flower first becomes female when it's partially open, and then several hours, maybe up to 24 hours later, it completely opens and becomes a male. Here's a very young Atemoya tree that's about a year old. I grew from seed, and as you can see, it has matured and it already has a flower. A few flowers. This flower right here is about to open. So we're going to wait for it to open probably this afternoon. So what I've done is what I'm going to do is I'm going to save some of the pollen I collected from another tree and then use it later on this afternoon. So hopefully the pollen would still be viable to fertilize, to pollinate this flower. Flower looks like a few days after hand pollination. You can see the small Atemoya now starting to develop. A couple of months after hand pollination, you can see that the Atemoyas are now starting to grow bigger. Here's another fruit that is developing really nicely. It's now October, and you can see that 3 months after hand pollination, the Atemoyas are getting even bigger. And here's another one over here, right there. Here's our Atemoyas. It's almost winter and I've grown a little bit. They need to grow a little more. And here's the one that's grown in a pot that's I guess less than 2 years old. It's a little over a year old. And here's the little pot it's growing out of. And in just 1 year, it flowered and bore as a fruit. What are we doing here?
Well, we've just had a storm and we've had a couple fruit drop from our cherimoya and atamoya trees. This is the atamoya fruit and this is the cherimoya fruit.
And this tree here is the
This is the atamoya.
atemoya. How can you tell the difference between the two?
You can look at the fruit here.
No, look. Let's look at the two closely.
Okay.
So the one on your right is that one is the cherimoya. It doesn't have bumps, and the atemoya on your left, the slightly bigger one, has little bumps. Okay, and you think they are going to ripen?
Yes.
So what are we going to do?
We're just going to let them sit in the kitchen for a few days until they start to turn color.
And then we'll do a taste test and see which.
Compare the two tastes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
We still have a few more atemoyas on the tree. Hopefully they get bigger and they don't fall off. I don't think there's going to. There's another little one over here. And this atemoya tree is supposed to lose its leaves. All the leaves should turn yellow and then fall off during the winter. It hasn't done that this season because it hasn't been really that cold for a long time.
Hello, we have two small cherimoya and atamoyas here. We're going to open them and taste them.
You are going to. I think that they're too small for us to share. So this atemoya and cherimoya actually fell from the trees because of the storm. So, but we picked them up. Don't do that. We picked them up and hoping that they will ripen. And we're doing a taste test. Are they ripe?
Yes, they look fine.
How do you know that they're ripe? They're slightly brown outside, and of course they should be soft. Right?
Yeah.
How did you ripen them?
We just set them on the counter.
Okay, so you're tasting. What is it now?
This is the atamoya.
The atemoya. How do you know the atemoya?
Bumps.
Okay, the atemoya has bumps, and cherimoya is kind of less bumpy. Is it right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Right.
good?
Yeah.
Okay, describe the taste for people who have not tasted it. You don't know how to describe it, huh? What's the fruit that's closest to it?
Banana and pineapple.
A what? Banana and pineapple?
Mhm.
A cross between, I wouldn't say that. It's Atis and Goyabano for Filipinos. It's a cross between the two. Atis is sweet and slightly bland, and Goyabano is juicier, but a little tangy. This is somewhere in between, sweet
Okay. I'm going to try the cherimoya now.
and slightly tangier than Atis. Now here's the cherimoya. It's the smaller one. How does it taste? Is it also ripe?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you describe the taste? Can you tell any difference? Not that bite, huh? Well,
Very similar.
very similar. Which one do you like better? It's probably a function of the condition of the fruit rather than the fruit themselves, huh? Themselves, huh? The atemoya looks slightly bigger, more mature, right? So the meat's bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So you like it better. But taste-wise, what do you think?
Taste-wise, let me check again.
If you have to keep checking, you can't. Is there a difference? I might have to taste it myself.
Yeah, I'll save you.
Okay. because the way I remember them, they taste exactly the same way. Let's zoom in on how he's eating it. He's just using a spoon. If you look at the seeds, they are almost identical too.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other additional points that you can give our viewers regarding the taste? You like them both though, right?
I think if you were blindfolded, you wouldn't be able to tell the taste.
Oh, really? Huh. I tend to agree with that. So, I'm gonna pause and look at a few more atemoyas that we got. No cherimoyas, atemoyas, and I'll show you the difference. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in, look at the meat. This one here is the atemoya. This one's the cherimoya. See how the cherimoya, when it's ripe, they both are kind of brown when they're ripe, but this one doesn't have bumps. Not like this one has. Do you see those little bumps? This one doesn't have those bumps. But the meats are very similar. Now we have 4 more here, and this one is a cherimoya, no bump. These 3 are atemoyas. You can see the pimply bumps on them, but they taste almost exactly the same. I think cherimoyas around here are more difficult to grow than atemoyas. We just had another atemoya that ripened, and I ate half of it, and it was really good. Here, have some. So there's a little bit of brown spot where it fell from the tree, but the whole thing is perfectly ripe and really good.